Alright guys, there's not much new to the raid builds really, other than you can't stack talents anymore. So mostly everything revolves around survivability. So with this raid build, I'm going to try to show you guys how to put this together. So first off, for you guys that are running ads, I really recommend running the new specialization. Um, Definitely adds a lot of kick. Um, and I know you're probably thinking, why in the hell is he running the Artificer Hive with the drone? Honestly, I think because this build gives you such a chance to put your armor back on, that you don't really need um, revive hives and chem launchers anymore. So what I've looked into is stacking as much armor as I possibly can, and then also using perfectly unbreakable and patience for my knee pads, so that if I need to get some of my armor back, I can, jump into cover. So another thing that I've noticed is that these gloves here that have perfectly wicked on them, they really add some serious amounts of punch because of the M4. So if you take a look at the police M4, you can see that it has perfectly ignited on it, which grants 40 extra percent damage to burning enemies, which doesn't mean you have to actually set them on fire, but after 2 kills, it applies burning to the next enemy you hit. So the next guy you shoot in, when we're fighting Boomer, or, when we're taking out ads for Dizzy and for Weasel, um, when we're taking out ads there, those guys will end up, um, catching on fire, and you get that extra 40% damage. Now, I slapped extra on the magazine, on the middle talent, basically for the fact that it really adds some serious amounts of ammunition to it. I would rather have more ammo than I would, run Allegro, because the Police M4 already shoots pretty fast. So, and I also miss having the Eagle Bearer with its 60 rounds. So at least with this, I'll have everything I need. And then obviously I couldn't change the third talent. It says while holstered, overlap gives you 5% weapon handling. I mean, that's fine. Um, we could have something better there, but overlap will work for this at least. Um, so for the mods, I decided to go with as much damage to elites that I could. So I went with the hollow sight, and then I wanted to try to keep things accurate because the Police M4 doesn't really have an issue with um, stability. So I went with the vertical grip for the accuracy, and then for the muzzle brake, again, the 5% damage to elites. And then the magazine, I went with the plus 20%, or plus 20 rounds and minus 10% reload speed. For my secondary, I would typically want to run Spike, and I would like to run the Nemesis, or not the Nemesis, but the Merciless. But it doesn't really pan out for me with this character because I don't have it. So I went with an M249. I think based on the damage numbers, this one does far more damage than the M60 now, or at least close to. It definitely has a higher firing rate. I went with Unhinged, Allegro, and Protected Reload. And for this, the Protected Reload really helps you out here as well, because when you're reloading your primary, you're going to gain 10% extra armor. So um, that works out well too. Okay, so mods here. again, as much damage to elites as I could stack on here. Um, DTE, damage to elites, I went with the hollow sight on the top. For the magazine, I went with the plus 35 rounds. For the underbarrel, I went with the angle grip, which gives you 10% extra stability, which really helps out a lot when you're using unhinged, because that thing goes all over the place. And then, excuse me. And then also I went with the muzzle brake, 5% damage to elites. So my secondary, the only thing that I really wanted for my secondary was just a pistol with in rhythm on it. Um, Really, that's all I was trying to aim for, was just get one within rhythm. I didn't care which one it was. And then for my mask, I decided to go with the highest damage roll I could find, or excuse me, armor roll. Tried to go with the highest armor roll I could find for a mask. Um, so I wanted to go with Badger Tough because I got to meet that 11 blue. And I went with 4% health, 15% hazard protection, and I rolled 43% damage to elites on it. Um, could find a higher damage to elites, but when we see the total numbers of DTE here in a moment, when I show you those, it, I mean, anything over 70 or even 60% is okay for damage to elites. Now for the vest, I went with Badger Tough 0Fs, the named vest, and with it I've got 15% weapon damage rolled on there. This one came with a really nice 12% total armor and 18,000 health, which health could have been higher, but hey, it's Division 2. You know, you do what you do with whatever rolls you get. For the mods, I went with damage to armor and assault rifle damage. And for defensive mods, I put explosive resistance on and protection from elites. Mostly for the fact that, well, explosive damage is OP right now. Like, it's seriously overpowered in this game. I don't know why they turned it up so high, but they did. Alright, so the reason I'm running the 2 Badger Tough is because you already get 7% damage to elites, and you get the 15% armor on kill, which, like I said, you're not going to be running a chem launcher, you're not going to be running a drone, healer drone. So getting your armor back the best way you can is whatever you got to do. And so I thought about it, and I said, if I'm out of cover, I'm gonna have to use it somehow. So 15% extra armor on kill helps out a lot. Could I run this with the gunner class and get another armor percentage on kill? Yeah, but I got to looking at the Artificer Hive, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Okay, so for the holster, I needed that 10% assault rifle damage, and that 10% assault rifle damage is really important. But I also got the devastating talent on this one with the 5% weapon damage talent, and then this one came with 31,000 health, which could be higher, but again, it is what it is. So looking at knee pads now, I wanted that extra 5% total armor, and Gilligard does make a higher armor rolled knee. I think I've seen them as high as 29, maybe 30. This one's only 27.2. So if I find another one with patience that's higher than 27, I will obviously change these out. But until then, again, using what I got, you just do what you can. For this one, on the mods, I decided to go with total armor and health regen. And then a big one down here at the bottom, the 2,000 armor on kill. Again, we're stacking more armor on kill because we got to stay alive. Especially if we're the ad guys at the end. Once you get to Razorback, you're going to get some kills. So, and then of course, you'll be staying in cover a lot too. So patience here helps out a lot because with patience, after being in cover for 5 seconds, your armor repairs by 5% for every additional second. So that kind of helps out. Um, for the gloves, I had to really think about this one pretty hard, and so um, the Sokolov Firm Handshake. I know it only comes with 10% SMG, and I'm not running an SMG, but Perfectly Wicked. When you apply a status effect, gain 20% weapon damage for 20 seconds. So think about that for a second, guys. When you already have the Pyromaniac, which has ignited on it, perfectly ignited, and you set somebody on fire on that third kill, now for the next 20 seconds, which can be a lifetime in this game, you'll have 20% extra weapon damage. Helps out a lot. Okay? Um, I also rolled the highest amount of assault rifle damage I could find. I'm pretty sure if I went and rolled some more Motherly Love gloves, I'll be able to get those 13%. But um, RN Jesus just hasn't been that nice to me. And then for the backpack, I don't normally like running 511, but this 511 did have a decent amount of what I wanted. I definitely needed that damage to elites, that 25%. I wanted to get that extra armor, that extra 15% armor with hardened. I rolled also another 20.5% total armor on there. It came with 11,000 health and only 3% weapon damage. I know the weapon damage is low, but Wicked makes up for it. Now, when you look at it, it came with a mod spot as well, which I was lucky enough to get a 0.5% weapon damage that comes with 1% damage to armor and 5% assault rifle damage. So that's pretty much the build. Again, the purpose for running the Artificer with the deflector drone, I mean, the deflector drone lasts a while. So, I mean, maybe when you're fighting Boomer, you might need a revive hive, but I've already went through the raid one time with this guy, and I didn't have a problem. And I'm going to tell you a couple things about that. One, once you get to Razorback, the deflector drone deflects the other drones. Just putting that out there. Okay? And then on the other thing is that these grenades here work on the dogs. They not also only work on the dogs, they work on the drones. So, yeah. I mean, if you're an ad guy, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be running these grenades. If somebody on the pad screwed up and they ran out of their concussion grenades, then we'll have to make adjustments. But yeah, these grenades, these EMP grenades, are pretty nifty. Um, so that's pretty much the build. Now, I know some of you are like, give us a DPS check. Alright, I'll give you a DPS check. I don't know how well it's going to do, but let's find out. Let's see. We want to put this on a named guy. Get us a named elite real quick. And, of course, they give me the one that's way out there. Alright. So, first target's 983,000 DPS. 960,000. Oh, we got a close one. Headshot. Oh, 1.1 mil. Back down to 914. Back up to 1 million. Back up to 1 million. 1.1. And see, when Wicked kicks in, look at the damage mark. So we're going to get our Wicked kick in here. Oh, maybe not. There it is. So, I'm not seeing any problems here, DPS-wise. So, just to point out too, if you're running Wicked, guys, if you're running survivalist and you have the fire grenades, get Wicked Gloves. Helps so much. Alright, so that is the build. Um, if you got any questions, you know where to check. And also, if you'd do me a favor and press the like button and subscribe, I'd appreciate that too. And maybe one day this game will be viable again when they give us some damn content. Alright, love you all. Raw board. Dave Dealer out. Mm-hmm.